In fact, I will be right there with you as a citizen for all my remaining days.
Welcome to Incredible, where we discover the weird and wonderful in this world. Have you ever wondered what happens when a US president leaves office? It turns out that post-presidential life not only comes with some big benefits courtesy of the federal government, but some hidden perks that can pad a former chief executive's bank account.
And I will always be honored to carry a title that means more to me than any other. Citizen of the United States of America.
Being a president carries many responsibilities, and even after office, people who once lived in the Oval Office find themselves swarmed with inquiries from the press and the media. Just imagine, one day you're the leader of the free world, and the next you're George H.W. Bush living next door to Bart Simpson.
Who's that, George?
But jokes aside, it's a big adjustment, but fear not, the federal government in its infinite wisdom has devised a way for presidents to adjust to post-presidential life. Known as the Former President's Act, it's designed to help former chief executives make the switch from president to citizen.
So, goodbye, God bless you, and God bless the United States of America.
The Former President's Act was a long time coming. The first president served in 1789, but it wouldn't be until 1958 that Congress figured out that it might be a good idea to make sure former presidents weren't destitute. There was good reason for this, as former President Harry S. Truman was close to being on public assistance once he left the White House. His only source of income was his army pension, and he had no financial investments to supplement it. Truman had the option of endorsing various products or services, but he declined, feeling they damaged the integrity of the presidential office. Truman came close to financial peril, but he wrote his memoirs for roughly $600,000. Unfortunately, after paying income taxes and his assistants, he roughly had only $36,000 left. In 1958, Congress passed the Former President's Act, which many believed was the result of Truman's financial difficulties.
And I don't think there was a better demonstration of how that training worked than the assassination attempt against President Reagan.
While many former presidents have been well off financially, there is also the issue of security. Whether it's crazed citizens or foreign agents, former presidents are targets as they represent the United States even long after they are out of office. That's where this act comes into play. Congress passed the Former President's Act in 1958, which granted former presidents a $25,000 annual pension, funds for leaving the office, funds for small staff, medical insurance, and lifetime Secret Service protection for the president, spouse, and any children under the age of 16. The act has been modified throughout the years, and in 1994, Secret Service protection was only limited to 10 years after leaving the office, but in 2012, lifetime protection was restored. So what exactly are the perks to being an ex-president? Let's look at each one and see what it really means. Moving expenses. Better known as transitional funding, these funds help a president make the move from the White House back to their place of residence and cover things such as office space, staff salaries, communication, and other funds to get the former president set up in some semblance of normalcy. These costs can quickly add up, something former President Richard Nixon found out when he resigned from office in 1974. Staff and office. Being president is an insanely busy job, and even life afterwards can get hectic, whether it's making public appearances, giving advice to heads of state, or booking a golf game with some past presidents. Congress's Former President's Act provide $150,000 a year for the first 30 months of office and $96,000 a year afterwards to cover expenses such as the cost of an office and staff. While this may seem like a lot of money, rising real estate costs and labor costs make it likely this stipend is only going to defray the costs of an office and staff. Presidential pension. Former presidents receive a taxable amount equivalent to the pay for a Level 1 executive officer, such as Secretary of the Treasury. This is currently $219,200 per year. A spouse is also entitled to $20,000 if they don't receive any other pension. The only way a president doesn't get the pension is if they are impeached and convicted.
In a period when our entire focus should be on the great issues of peace abroad and prosperity without inflation at home, I shall resign the presidency effective at noon tomorrow.
President Richard Nixon resigned in 1974, but he was still entitled to a pension, something which irked some of his critics. but which came in handy as Nixon adjusted to post-presidential life: Secret Service protection for life.
The old saying that, Secret Service agent will take a bullet for the president. If you look at the Reagan assassination, Tim McCarthy did do that, but he was trained to do that as well.
Sure, some ex-presidents probably have the funds to hire a private security team, but why not stick with the agency that specializes in personal protection? While spouses enjoy this benefit, they lose it if they remarry, and children over 16 are no longer covered. Secret Service protection involves the obvious bodyguard services, but it also includes some bonuses you haven't considered. For example, an ex-president's mail is sent to a location away from home where it is screened by the Secret Service to make sure Bill Clinton's package from Amazon is really the watch he ordered and not a ticking time bomb. The next benefit is a case of a blessing or curse depending on your point of view. Ex-presidents get to have the Secret Service chauffeur them around town, but unfortunately, they're not allowed to drive. The Presidential Library. Even the worst presidents play important roles in history, so it's only natural that historians would like you to have access to presidents' records of their time in the Oval Office. However, many presidents' records were, at least until recently, considered their property. Some discarded them or let them go to waste, denying people the chance to review pieces of history. Presidential libraries are a central location to archive a president's records and centralize access to them. In 1955, Congress established the Presidential Libraries Act, which set up a system for federally administered libraries. Subsequent acts have provided for more funds to maintain these, and while they may not seem like a major benefit, it's a way for former presidents to maintain their legacy without going deep into debt. Medical benefits. Ex-presidents are entitled to lifetime health care and the use of veterans' hospitals. There is one catch, however. Presidents must serve 5 years or more to be entitled to these benefits, so a one-term president like Jimmy Carter has to obtain insurance on his own. Former presidents who served 2 terms also have the option of buying into the Federal Employees Health Benefits Program, a state funeral. All good things come to an end, and at some point, an ex-president is heading into that great Oval Office in the sky. Not only do past presidents get their funeral bills comped, but they're entitled to a state funeral. State funerals are an elaborate ritual that take place over 7 to 10 days and involve 3 stages, complete with military honors. A president can opt out of having a state funeral and go for a state memorial service instead. Speaking engagements. Presidents can find themselves in high demand after leaving DC, and this includes commanding top dollar in speaking engagements. These engagements have been questioned by critics who argue that working in the public sector then cashing in with big money speaking fees for corporations raises the question whether ex-presidents are getting a payoff for something they did while in office.
What's the difference between being a former president and president? What was the transition like?
Nobody plays a song when you walk in the room anymore.
The criticism hasn't stopped the practice, with former presidents backing up the Brinks truck and pulling in serious bank. For example, a 2014 ABC News report noted Bill Clinton charging an average of $200,000 for speaking engagements, which is actually chump change compared to the $1.5 million Donald Trump received before he became president. Book deals. The public is fascinated by the office of the presidency, as well as the various stories of how people came to find themselves leading the United States. While there are many authors who write about presidents in the office, there's something special about a book written by a president. Book deals are often considered an honorable way to benefit from the time in office. For example, former President Jimmy Carter turned down many of the financially lucrative deals taken by former presidents, but cranked out over a dozen books, helping to maintain a modest income. Travel budget. Feeling the need to get away from it all, well, former presidents are entitled to a generous travel budget for personal and business travel. While Congress attempted to cap the amount to $200,000 in 2016, then President Obama vetoed it. These trips often involve former presidents traveling on behalf of the US government, so it only seems fair they're not charged out of pocket. Now, while critics question the need for taxpayers to subsidize wealthy ex-presidents, the policy doesn't seem to be going away, and regardless of wealth, the argument can be made that some of these benefits transcend monetary value and are well-deserved honors. What do you think of these presidential perks? Well, be sure to leave your comments down below, and we'll see you next time with some more incredible videos.